The story resonates because we all want love. And the Toy Story films are about love, and love takes many forms, including platonic friendship love, and Woody and Buzz is where it's at. It's how to make it last. Because friendship isn't just good times. This is the worst of times ever, and I can't take it away, but you're not going to be alone through it. When you face mortality, hopefully you can face it knowing that you're loved.
Yeah. With my friends, and we can join hands. I hope that's the way I go.
A lot of principles of couples therapy also work in friendships.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
You just generally remove the sex and or the romance, right?
Generally.
Not always.
You don't know what's happening here.
I do, and it's not that. Hello and welcome to Cinema Therapy. I'm Jonathan Decker, licensed therapist who loves movies. This is
Alan Seawright, professional filmmaker who needs therapy.
Today we're going to talk about Buzz and Woody and principles of lasting friendship. You and I are going on 17 years.
17 years, just like Buzz and Woody, right before they get fired into a trash incinerator. So this is the last episode of Cinema Therapy.
Gosh dang, I was not counting on an existential crisis until we get to Toy Story 3
We are sliding into oblivion, people.
Okay, well, I want to talk about how to make a friendship last because when you and I met, we were both single guys. We were both in college. We were roommates. We were super poor.
True.
It's fair to say.
Yeah.
We didn't know what life had in store for us. And since then, lots of life changes.
Who would have thunk that out of all the people we knew in college, we would be the ones that are still like bros?
I would.
Okay.
The moment we had our Firefly Marathon weekend.
That's true. That's true. That was what, 2-3 weeks into our friendship?
Yeah.
We just like
binge watch Firefly, and I'm like, this is gonna last.
This is a soulmate. This is what this is.
But, you know, the fact is, we've had periods where we weren't as close, like life took us apart, took us away from each other. We've had conflicts and disagreements that we've had to navigate.
Yep.
We've both, you know, you were there for me when my mom passed away. I was there for you when you were like butt crack poor and trying to make it as a filmmaker. Like, you had some rough years there. Like,
There was, some rough stuff.
we've been through a lot. And so I think we know a little bit about making a friendship work.
What is butt crack poor?
That's where you stash your cash because you can't afford a wallet.
Oh no! We're keeping this! This is staying in the episode! Whoo boy!
Anyways.
Chicago mix. It's delicious.
Because these two flavors shouldn't go together, but they do so well, just like Buzz and Woody.
One tastes like space, the other one tastes like cowboys.
No. Nope.
No. Well,
Everyone here has seen the Toy Story films. You've probably seen some of them many, many times, and so we're just going to dive into Buzz
If
and Woody.
not, get the hell off my lawn.
There you go. It's metaphorical.
It's metaphorical!
Hey, get over here and see if you can get this toolbox off me.
So this is before the friendship has really even
Yeah.
developed.
Come on, Buzz, Buzz, I can't do this without you. I need your help.
No, they've been rivals.
Yeah.
I can't help. I can't help anyone.
Well, sure you can, Buzz. You can get me out of here, and then I'll get that rocket off you, and we'll make a break for Andy's house.
Andy's house, Sid's house. What's the difference?
Oh, Buzz, you've had a big fall. You must not be thinking clearly.
No, Woody. For the first time, I am thinking clearly. You were right all along. I'm not a space ranger. I'm just a toy, a stupid, little, insignificant toy.
Whoa, hey, wait a minute. Being a toy is a lot better than being a space ranger.
Yeah, right.
No, it is. Look, over in that house is a kid who thinks you are the greatest, and it's not because you're a space ranger, pal. It's because you're a toy. You are his toy.
But why would Andy want me?
Why would Andy want you? Look at you. You're a Buzz Lightyear. Any other toy would give up his moving parts just to be you.
The number of times we have had basically this exact conversation where you're telling me I'm a Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are a cool toy.
To be fair, I've told Jono he's a Buzz Lightyear at least twice.
In fact, you're too cool. I mean,
Well, so there's a lot of jealousy there.
Yeah, for sure.
Originally, there was rivalry. There was insults. But you start to see, even before this scene, Woody starts to be protective of Buzz and starts to look out for him.
I'm the one that should be strapped to that rocket.
So, every person I have ever known is insecure as hell on some level or another.
Yeah, totally.
Generally, our insecurities aren't about the same things, which is why when you're with somebody and you feel insecure, it's because you happen to be in their confidence area, or they're also insecure about it, but they're projecting confidence.
Right.
But I love this scene because
Listen, Buzz, forget about me. You should get out of here.
because Woody, first of all, is finally being selfless. You know, forget about me, save yourself. Second of all, like Buzz is going through a really rough paradigm shift right now, where he thought he was going to be something with his life, and then he's not. And it's like, who am I? What am I? It's an existential crisis.
Now let's get you out of this thing.
Yes, sir.
There's a kid across the street who needs us. I love for the first time Woody, when he goes, yes, sir. For the whole movie, Woody's been bossing Buzz around or trying to.
Yeah.
And here this is what John Gottman calls accepting influence, right? And the fact is, a lot of principles of couples therapy also work in friendships.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
You just generally remove the sex and or the romance, right?
Generally.
Not always.
You don't know what's happening here.
I do, and it's not that. But accepting influence is crucial for any type of partnership.
Right.
You know, and so finally Woody is listening to Buzz, and Buzz is really internalizing what Woody's been telling him all along. This is a great life, and you have worth and you have value. You attached your value to something else, and then you felt worthless. Mm-hmm. And what I'm trying to show you is what you really are. You've got a friend in us, and friends don't let friends get stuck with high-interest credit card debt.
So let me share with you, as a friend, a cautionary tale. About 4 years ago, I had piled up a fair amount of quite high-interest credit card debt. No bueno. But I was able to get a personal loan from Upstart, consolidate all of that credit card debt, lower my interest rate, save a ton of money, pay it off faster.
That's awesome.
It was super helpful for me and my family to get on better financial footing. It's incredibly easy to apply because the application is all online. And what's even better is that even though my credit score wasn't very good, they don't just look at your credit score.
That's right. Upstart considers your income, employment, and other information from your loan application to help you find the smartest rate for your loan.
So if you're like me,
A giant albino man baby.
no, you have some high-interest credit card debt that you need to consolidate,
Or you need to fund some personal expenses.
check out Upstart. You can find out your rate within minutes online. You can also qualify for between $1,000 and $50,000.
You can receive funds as fast as 1 day after accepting your loan. Upstart has helped over 1.8 million customers.
I am one of them, but a while ago, before I was like one of your YouTube dads,
On the path to infinity and beyond.
to financial freedom and beyond.
Don't wait. Check your rate today at upstart.com/cinematherapy.
That's upstart.com/cinematherapy to check your rate.
Today, you've got a friend in us, so use our link.
That's right, partner. One of the things that I love about the first Toy Story movie, I love going back and revisiting this and older VFX stuff because it's, visual effects is a passion of mine. I love using that in storytelling. And all of this CG stuff, like about half of all of the underlying graphics technologies that you use every day on your phone, on your watch, just in your everyday life, was invented by people who worked at Pixar.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was while they were working at Pixar, it was people who worked there.
Yeah.
Invented all of the things that you use. And it's so interesting to go back and see some of this stuff and see just how rudimentary so much of it was. Like there's one shot there where it's pulled back and it's wide and you can see the window. Mm-hmm. There's like little droplets of water. In order to get that to work, they had to write an entirely new piece of software to do refraction of light.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of our viewers are too young to have been alive in 1995 to remember what computers were like.
Oh, yeah.
But it's amazing.
It is unbelievable that they were able to do what they were able to do back then. But, it just like the amount of creativity and technical know-how that went into this. It was scientists and artists working together to tell a story. And man.
Yeah.
Pixar's still doing that, but back then they were really blazing new trails.
Yeah,
Very
that's
cool
super
stuff.
Woody, what are you doing?
Hold still, Buzz.
You did it! Next stop, Andy!
Wait a minute. I just lit a rocket. Rockets explode!
The animation may be old school. I mean, it was literally the first feature-length CGI animated film.
Should have held on longer.
But the character work is so strong, not just in the voices, but in the animation, that you still connect with the characters.
Still totally sells. The sound effects of his flapping cheeks are so gross when you listen to him.
Take cover!
That's such a great gag.
No! This is the part where we blow up!
Not today!
Hey, Buzz! You're flying!
This isn't flying, this is falling with style.
And I just wanted this scene because
To infinity and beyond!
the tagline to infinity and beyond was the bane of Woody's existence, and now he's stepping into it and he's celebrating Buzz's successes.
We're not aiming for the truck.
And it's hard when, you know, one person is having more success than the other. We get jealous and we get petty.
For sure.
And true friendship says, your success doesn't mean I'm failing. It means we're in different places right now.
Yeah.
Right? And just that he's genuinely happy for Buzz, you're flying.
You're flying.
He's also happy that he's not dead and splattered on the pavement.
That's true too. Yeah. The score. So Randy Newman, one of our great composers, simultaneously one of our worst songwriters.
That is a hot take, folks.
Short people got no reason to live.
But that bit of score,
This isn't flying, this is falling with style.
that just soaring trumpet, and it just...
And the strings, and it's so
it
triumphant.
just feels exactly like the feeling, and it like animated movie scores have a harder lift than regular movies, because regular movies you can always cut to this, and this does a lot of work. And with an animated movie, if you have exceptional animators, you can cut to that. But we're looking at plastic toys.
Yeah.
You really need that score to come in and like, I'm feeling the triumph.
Yeah.
And you just do. It's brilliant bit of score right there.
Well, and thematically, Buzz has embraced, so he can't fly the way he thought he could.
Sure.
He can still soar,
Yeah.
right? And that is a really, really powerful thought of who did I think I was? And I think I'm worthless and meaningless, to only to realize I can pivot and do something else and thrive, right? And his friend helped him see that, right? We help each other with those paradigm shifts to find new meaning, to find new value.
Yep.
Good work, men. 2 blocks down and only 19 more to go.
What?
Only 19
We're
more.
gonna do this all night? My parts are killing me.
Come on, fellas. Did Woody give up when Sid had me strapped to a rocket?
No.
No. And did he give up when you threw him out of the back of that moving van?
Oh, you had to bring that up.
No, he didn't. We have a friend in need, and we will not rest until he's safe in Andy's room. Now let's move out.
That's awesome. I literally just included that because Woody's not there.
Yeah.
And no one's attacking Woody's character, but Buzz defends Woody's character and says he's worth it and he's worth the effort. And part of what makes a friend is how they talk about you when you're not around, right? I like to say to people, hey, so-and-so was talking good about you behind your back.
Yep.
Right? That if you're truly a friend and you've got a beef, that it's going to be face-to-face. It's not going to be, back behind their back.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to include that little moment because I love that Buzz rallies the troops by defending Woody's honor.
The sort of industry term is it's a St. Crispin's Day speech, right? From so Henry V, there's the St. Crispin's Day speech, big famous speech from Shakespeare. But the rally the troops and let's go and Band of Brothers speech, right?
Yeah.
And so he gives that. The thing that I love about that though, that really sticks out to me watching it this time, scene transitions are difficult.
Yeah.
If you're doing a good job, you can just cut from one thing to another thing and your audience will follow you. But if you're really putting in the extra work, which should be Pixar's tagline, Pixar putting in the extra work.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
This is just what we do. The fact that they have the swelling Star-Spangled Banner and they have the flag waving in the background and that was the next scene. It's the end of our broadcast day and we're shutting off. It so perfectly punctuates what's happening as a joke.
Yeah.
Then it turns into a scene transition, which plays as a second joke.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
There's
you
a lot of
just
layers.
did a lot. with one thing.
And that's what I love about the best Pixar screenplays, which very often are like Toy Story 1, 2, and 3 in particular. There's so many layers.
It's just super dense.
So everyone's got their favorite Toy Story.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but 2 is actually your favorite Toy Story.
2 is totally my favorite Toy Story.
That is a hot take, kids. Look, it's great. I love Toy Story 2. It's phenomenal.
Cowboy without his hat. Buzz!
If it's not the best, it's definitely the most underrated.
I will say that for sure.
Because people land on 3 or they remember 1 as a classic and they kind of sleep on 2, and 2 is just...
It's brilliant.
Buzz! Buzz! Get behind the tires!
So I like this because Buzz has this implicit trust of Woody. He has no idea what Woody's plan is, but he's like, all right, we're going for it.
I'll just abandon what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Just pretend it's the final episode of Woody's Roundup.
But it was canceled! We never saw if you made it!
Well, then let's find out together.
Quick plug, Joan Cusack elevates everything she's in. This is not the first time we've made this point.
Yep, she's a Tucci.
But I love that Buzz was just paying attention, like... Because they got separated, and so Buzz forms another plan just to be there for his buddy.
Nice roping, cowboy.
That was definitely Woody's finest hour!
And part of a lasting friendship or a lasting partnership is over time, you learn each other's patterns and
And
you learn
comedy
each
pose. Sorry, I just wanted to cut you off for that because it's so cheeseball. And it's so great.
Just like, oh, let's go home.
Go home.
Well, you learn each other's rhythms and you learn each other's needs and you start to speak shorthand the more you work with somebody.
Sure, yep.
But the thing is that some people don't because they're not paying attention and they take it for granted.
No, yeah.
Right? And so, I mean, I've definitely been guilty of this in my own marriage where I wasn't paying attention and I took her for granted. And so I've been kind of rebooting, like the past couple years of what are the
You've
cues.
really been putting the work in the last 2-3 years, huh?
Yeah, I have because I was, I think of your marriage relationship should be a best friendship.
Yeah.
And for me, I definitely confused good man with good husband.
Oh.
Yeah, right? Or and sometimes in the case in our friendship, because I know I've stepped on you unwittingly or, let you down unwittingly, good man equals good friend.
Sure.
And it's not the same thing. And or good person equals good friend or good partner. And the biggest difference is this. You can be a good person by having integrity, having values, and living true to them. And that's something, if I could use the phrase, like that's something I pride myself in. Like I put a lot of effort into being a good person.
Yeah, you should take pride in that. You're a very good person.
Thank you. But being a good friend or a good partner requires paying attention to what the other person's, not just their likes and dislikes, but what their needs are that have been expressed or unexpressed or are caring enough to ask. Instead of assuming that because my intentions are good and because I care about you and I'm doing this behavior caring for you with good intentions, that it should just land and meet the need.
I think this is why we make such a good duo, because you're a really good person who's bad at caring about people, and I care deeply about people, but I'm terrible.
I'm not exactly sure. That's sure.
That's
We'll
the
go.
lesson to take. Oh, no, you're doing this to me?
I am.
Why are you doing this to me?
Because the fans demand your tears as a sacrifice.
Sacrifice on the altar of YouTube.
This is such a pits of hell. Like it's really.
The lighting, the color, the rendering, it's all working to that heat haze and shimmer.
And what I.
Animation and the performance here is so beautiful. And the score, of course, is doing a lot of the work. Jeez, I'm trying to not cry, and it's not working.
And the reason I included this, and we know it's a kid's film, or not, I apologize. This is a family-friendly film.
Family-friendly film, yeah.
And so it's gonna end up all right, with a little green men ex machina. But there are times in your life where things aren't going to get better. There are times in your life where you can't bring someone comfort, but you can mourn with them, or you can't fix it for them, so you're just there with them, right? So here we have, of course, like, they make it out. There's a European version, I think, where they all melt into one.
Yeah, the French version, they all
die. And
yeah, they meld into one cube of plastic.
But that moment where they're all struggling and just kind of
The claw. Laughter through tears. Single greatest emotion. Pixar freaking nails it a lot, and that is their magnum opus of laughter through tears, because you're just gutted by I hope that's the way I go. Sliding into a trash incinerator with my friends. I hope I'm with my friends and we can join hands. And
it's a beautiful way to die.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're connected to the characters, but it's really speaking to something more profound and universal than that, which is when you face death, hopefully you can face it knowing that you're loved.
Yeah.
Alicia likes to say very bleakly, none of us is going to make it out of this thing alive.
Yeah.
Talking about life.
She is absolutely correct.
But even before death, as I was saying when the clip is rolling, there are things that you're not going to make better. Right. Even as a friend. Like when my mom died, there's nothing you could do that would make it better.
The only thing I could do was hold your hand while you were sliding down the incinerator. Like, that's it.
Like sometimes I wanted to talk, we'd talk. Sometimes I wanted Mexican food and like
got burritos
and the Bourne trilogy or something, and that's what we would do. When my mom died, not everybody knew. I didn't tell everybody.
Well, it's not a thing you go, hey, guess what? My mom died.
No, but there are buddies and there are friends. And I didn't tell buddies because I wanted to retain, like, we could go have fun and no one would be awkward.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't tell, there were buddies of mine who didn't know my mom died until like 6 months later. And that was an awkward moment. They're like, why?
Why didn't you tell me? It's like, well, I don't value you that much.
Well, but we also had just like a kind of a surface level.
Yeah.
And with you and with other people, it was a true friendship. Yeah. Because friendship isn't just good times. Friendship is, this is the worst of times ever, and I can't take it away, but you're not going to be alone through it.
Right.
Buzz, she'll be okay. Bonnie will be okay.
Yeah. He thought he meant you're going to come with me because we're buddies. Leave Bo Peep behind.
Hey, listen to your inner voice.
Gosh, the animation in this film is so stunning.
Yeah, it's the lighting and rendering. I mean, the animation improved too, but the underlying technology and the artists doing the lighting, just really huge improvement.
So saying goodbye,
Oh, Forky.
But Woody found for the first time in a long time a purpose other than being a toy. And that was a bit of a shock after all these years, and so I would love to hear a little bit of, because I know you're not super crazy about Toy Story 4. Let's talk about why.
Well, for one thing, the end of Toy Story 3 is a perfect ending to that story, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it ends literally on the opening shot of the first film.
Yeah.
The opening shot of the first film is Andy's wallpaper, and it's blue with the little clouds.
Yeah.
And it ends on panning up or tilting up and seeing a blue sky with the exact same shape of clouds in it. Like, it's clearly, this is the end of the story. Yeah. And they have gone from being Andy's toys to, we're going to continue as being Bonnie's toys. And Woody, in particular, has learned and grown, but maintained his identity as I am a toy. We are toys. We are here to help a kid. And this movie, even though it's well written, and that scene is a beautiful scene of, you know, letting go of a friendship, which is a thing that happens in real life. Sometimes you move apart and you do different things. And it's a lovely scene, and there are many lovely scenes, and there's great bits in Toy Story 4, but the underlying story is a complete repudiation of everything that happened in Toy Story 3, which was a perfect film.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
It's not even that it was unnecessary, because, like, no movie is necessary. They feel necessary at the end if the
they've earned
filmmakers
it,
did their job right?
Yeah.
It's not even that it felt unnecessary, it's that it felt like it was undoing a bunch of things.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, it's not a bad film. It is a good film.
No, and I see the point you're making. I see it from a different angle thematically, which is, you know, sometimes you dedicate your whole life to something and then you realize that you want something else.
Sure.
You know, which does happen in people's lives. Or sometimes your identity is one thing, and then, I mean, you have people who, if they transition into a faith or out of a faith, or, you know, their whole life they thought that they were straight because that's kind of how they were raised, and then they realized, oh, I'm not, and I'm pivoting this way. That, and then, like you were saying, sometimes you move apart. Sometimes the things you pursue take you apart. Like, the friendship is always there.
Yeah.
You know, I'm this way with you. I'm this way with several of my friends, where stuff will happen and we won't talk for months or even a year. Mm-hmm. I think there was a period where you and I didn't even really talk for like 3 years, 3 or 4 years.
2 or 3 years, yeah.
And it wasn't because there were hard feelings or anything. It was just...
No, we're just both busy.
Yeah. And then when we got back together, it's like we picked up where we left off.
Yep.
You know? You're right. I agree with you on what happens. I think we diverge on whether it's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah. So honestly, and I can't believe I'm saying this, you know what would save this for me?
What?
Toy Story 5, where 10 years down the road, they get back together and it's the buddies reuniting story.
Yeah.
'Cause that is also a really interesting story.
Yeah.
Gosh dang it. Ugh.
Alan asked for it. You heard it here first.
Sorry, guys.
But regardless of...
I love these characters. I just love them.
Those watching at home, what are your thoughts on Toy Story 4? Yay or nay? Did you like where it took the story, or do you feel like it was... unearned or unnecessary or undid a lot of what came before? We'd love to know. But regardless of your feelings on individual films in the series, their impact on culture globally is undeniable.
Huge.
But also just the story resonates because we all want love. And the Toy Story films are about love, and love takes many forms, including platonic friendship love, and Woody and Buzz. It's where it's at. This is how to make it last.
So the thing I want you to sound off in the comments about is which one of us is Woody and which one of us is Buzz. With explanations, maybe some diagrams.
I already know who's who, but I wonder if anyone disagrees with me.
So until next time.
You are a toy! You're not the real Buzz Lightyear, you're an action figure! You are a child's plaything!
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell.
And watch movies! I think I shred my larynx on that one. That was good.
That was a lot.
It was a different pitch, completely.
It's a whole new Jono.
A whole new Jono! Oh, man.